Thank you for staying with us. Voting has come to an end in Ghana's capital city of Accra as the counting of ballots begin after a presidential and parliamentary poll. The tight presidential race is pitting Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia of the NPP ruling party against opposition NDC party ex-president John Mahama. Ghana's struggling economy dominated the race after the West Africa gold and cocoa producer went through a debt default, high inflation, and negotiation for a $3 billion IMF bailout. Voters are choosing the successor to Bawumia's boss, President Nana Akufo-Addo, who steps down after serving the maximum of 2 4-year terms. They will also elect the country's new parliament. We have our correspondent who has been our eyes and ears in Ghana, and that's Bernard Akede, as well as Afua Hagan, who are covering the elections. They join us right now. Good evening, Bernard, as well as Afua.
Good evening, Adebola.
Yeah. Bernard, how are things taking shape now regarding vote counting as voting has come to close now?
Okay. I'll speak for Kumasi, where I am now. In Kumasi, voting has closed, obviously, ended exactly 5 p.m. The whole procedure was that as at 5 p.m., whoever was on the line or on the queue will continue to cast their vote until it ends, but nobody else will be allowed to join the queue. And then if there is, as long as there's nobody on the queue, it completely ends. So what happened in post-polling units, as with where the polling unit where I was, is that the boxes eventually, the seals on the boxes were cut open, and then the ballots were brought out and counted, sorted first of all according to parties, and then counted in front of the watchful eyes of the party agents. And they started with presidential first, and then moved to the parliamentary. And then after counting of all of that, then they would move them to collation center in Kumasi, as they would do in other regions in Ghana. You have 16 regions in total. Kumasi is the second, most popular or second largest region in Ghana. So that's exactly what's happened. So when they now move them to these collation centers, now they don't need to recount there. All they need to do basically is to calculate the figures that they believe have been properly counted and collated in each of the polling stations. So far so good in Kumasi. It's been peaceful. It's been smooth. Everything has gone on quite well. And now we're expecting that each of the polling stations, polling units, will be moving their votes to the collation center in Kumasi.
Well, just to find out from you, Bernard, let's talk about residents in Kumasi, where you are. What have they said so far regarding the build-up and up till now when the election has come to a close? And what do you think, is on the lips of people in terms of who should emerge as the winner of this election?
To be quite frank with you, it's a bit confusing now, because when we came in on Thursday, first of all, we spoke to certain people in Kumasi, and many of them were swinging towards, John Mahama, saying that they want John Mahama to win, only for Friday to come. And then we spoke to other people, and many of them were swinging towards Bahumia's camp. Considering the fact that Ghana is a country that has experienced, I think, 2 protests concerning hardship in the country and the amount of taxes that has come under Nana Akufo-Addo's rule. Remembering again, bearing in mind that Bawumia is the current vice president serving with Nana Akufo-Addo. And then we began to ask people questions, and we're saying, well, you can't blame the current government when it comes to economic hardship and economic challenges. It's not a thing caused by the ruling party alone. It's a global phenomenon. So it's almost as if they completely forgot about the last 2 years where they were protesting and complaining, I beg your pardon. They forgot about, the hardship protests. They forgot about the taxes that they complained about. And now they seem happy and okay with the government that's in power. So it's like this and like that. And the polling units where I was, the votes that were counted favored Bawumia. That's the current vice president. But then that's just one polling unit out of several polling units in one region. There are 16 16 regions in Ghana. So we're waiting to hear from the other region, the other polling units, first of all, in Kumasi, and then the other regions across the country. So for now, I think it's still a bit early to call, but I think it possibly will be a tight race.
Well, from what you have seen or observed so far, Bernard, how would you describe the demography of people who have come out, who came out rather, to cast their vote today?
I think I'm pretty impressed with the demographics of people who came out to vote, just as I'm impressed with a lot of things that I've seen today in Kumasi. So we've had the young, we've had the elderly, we've had male, we've had female, we've had people from all walks of life, honestly, coming out to vote. I think they were intentional about the electoral process today, and election and voting particularly. So people came out as best they could, and there was no disparity. Although in the last polling unit I visited, I tried to get information concerning the demographics of people who came out to vote, and we had more male than female voters in that particular polling unit. And I think it may be the same in almost all other polling units. But as regards voter apathy, like I did ask, I think it was quite an impressive turnout. Not fantastic, but impressive.
Well, I do know or imagine that Ghanaians are waiting, with bated breath, as well as the rest of the world, for who will emerge as the winner of this election. What information are you, hearing regarding when results will be announced?
If everything goes according to plan, I would like to believe that results will probably be announced maybe Sunday evening, that's tomorrow, either Sunday evening or Sunday night. If push comes to shove, it may spill into Monday, but I think that should be the latest we should get. I don't see any reason why the results would go beyond Monday. But if they do, then it's obvious that there's something critical going on. But as I mentioned, Sunday evening or Sunday nights, and worst case scenario, Monday.